Maybe you've had this moment. You accomplish something. You get the praise. You're doing all the right things on the outside. And then later, when it's quiet, there's this subtle drop in your belly or an ache in your chest, a kind of hollowness. And a voice comes in, not even yelling, sometimes just certain. Don't get comfortable. Don't mess this up. If they really knew me, they'd see the truth and they'd leave. If that's familiar, I just want to say, you are not alone. And that voice isn't proof that you're broken. It's often a nervous system story, a protector, a part of you that learned somewhere along the way that being perfect or being hard on yourself might keep you safe from rejection. So today, we're not going to wage war on your inner critic. We're not going to try to force self-love, because that just doesn't work. We're going to do something much more honest and much more doable. We're going to meet these parts with curiosity and compassion, and we're going to shift into the awareness that can hold them. Presence as the container. And at the end, I'll guide you through a short practice you can return to whenever that unlovable feeling shows up. So you can stop trying to love yourself and simply be the self that loves, your authentic self. Welcome to IFS Enlightenment Snacks. I'm Shankari, your Wild Wisdom Guide. And this is episode 2. When you feel unlovable, be the self that loves. Quick note before we begin. This podcast is for education and personal reflection. It isn't therapy or medical advice, and it doesn't replace mental health or medical care. And as always, no pressure. You can go slowly, skip anything that doesn't feel right, or simply listen and imagine the practice instead. That voice saying, if they really knew me, they'd leave, is such a common nervous system story. Your critic and perfectionist aren't proof that you're broken. They're proof that something in you has been trying very hard to protect you. And if you look high functioning on the outside and secretly feel hollow inside, you're not alone. Let's name what often happens here in IFS language, plain and simple. The inner critic is usually trying to prevent rejection by rejecting you first. So many inner critics have this strange logic. If I point out everything that's wrong with you, maybe you'll fix it before anyone else sees it, and then you won't be humiliated, and then you won't be left. It may not feel kind, but it's often loyal. It's trying to keep you loved, trying to keep you safe. It just uses a strategy that's so hard. And perfectionism is an attempt to stay safe through control. So perfectionism often says, don't make a mistake. Don't be messy. Don't be human. Because somewhere inside, there's a fear. If you're not flawless, you'll be found out, and then you'll be abandoned. So the perfectionist manages, it tightens, it overprepares, it overfunctions. And for a while, it might even work externally, but internally, it can create that hollow feeling because you're never resting in your realness. Self and present isn't a part. It's the container that can hold parts. Here's one of the most relieving truths I know. You are not only the critic. You are not only the perfectionist. You are not only the fear underneath them. There is also something in you that can notice all of that. A spacious awareness, a warmth, a steadiness. In IFS, we call this self-energy. And in effortless mindfulness, we're pointing to this awake awareness that's already here without forcing a special state. And this is our thread for today. Presence is the container. You don't have to get rid of parts. You can make room for them. Like the sky doesn't need to get rid of weather to be the sky. It has room for storms, and it has room for sun. And you don't have to force self-love. You can be the authentic self that loves. This is subtle, and it matters. A lot of us try to make self-love happen, and that just doesn't work. While a part inside is screaming, "I'm unlovable." And that can turn into another achievement project, another perfection project. But the shift we're practicing is different. Instead of forcing love at yourself, you begin to recognize the one who can love, the presence that can be with what hurts without trying to exile it. And from there, even the harsh parts can soften because they're finally not alone. And before we practice, I want to share a short excerpt from the poem Let Love Go by Jeff Foster. If these words land for you, you can find the full poem in his book, You Were Never Broken. Let love go deep into the tender places, the parts that ache. There is an untouchable place in you that fearlessly allows itself to be touched. Here, even your unworthiness has worth. And that old feeling that you're unlovable, it is lovable here. Presence is the container, never the contained. There is so much room in you, friend, so much room. So stop trying to love yourself. Simply be the self that loves. Thank you, Jeff, for naming this so beautifully. And that line, it's our doorway. Presence is the container. You don't have to get rid of parts. You can make room for them. Let's do a short glimpse together. If it feels right, let's begin with a little safety and choice. You can do this sitting, lying down, or even walking. Whatever fits your life today. Your eyes can be open or closed. And if at any point you feel overwhelmed, you can pause, open your eyes, look around the room, and come back later. Only go as far as feels okay. Now, bring to mind that familiar moment. You're doing well on the outside, and inside, there's that hollow feeling. Maybe the mind says, if they really knew me, or any minute I'll be exposed. See if you can notice what part shows up first. Maybe it's your inner critic. Maybe it's the perfectionist. Maybe it's just a general tightening. Can you sense where it lives in or around the body? If it had a color, what color would it be? Does it have a temperature? Is it hot or cold or neutral? Now, just as an experiment, you might gently ask this part, would you be willing to give me a little space so I can get to know you? And notice, how do you feel toward this part right now? There's no right answer, just information. If another part shows up, like an impatient part or an embarrassed part, you can quietly thank it, invite it to soften back for a moment, just so you can stay with this one protector. Now you might ask this protector one simple question. What are you trying to prevent? And just notice what comes. Maybe it's rejection. Maybe it's being found out. Maybe it's abandonment. And if it feels genuine, you might offer a few words. It could be, thank you. I see how hard you've been working. Or, it makes sense you took on this job. And you might ask, what do you fear would happen if you didn't do your job? Now, notice the place inside you that is aware of this protector. The part that's noticing the critic, noticing the perfectionist. And just check, does that witnessing feel effortful or mental today? If so, that's okay. That can be another part doing its best. So gently, you might ask even the witness to soften back a little. And then, this is the effortless mindfulness doorway. Who or what is aware of all of this? Aware of both the witness and the protector. Just notice the sense of awareness, the space that's already here, the presence that can include this moment. Presence is the container, never that which it contains. And from this more spacious place, turn your attention back towards that protector. Notice, how do you feel toward it now? Even 5% more space counts. You might let the part know, I'm here with you. You don't have to do this alone. I'm not trying to get rid of you. And if it feels right, you can ask, what do you need from me right now to soften just a little? Now, feel what it's like when a protector is met, not battled. You don't have to force self-love. You can be the self that loves what's here. When you're ready, feel your feet, your seat, your back, whatever is in contact with support. Maybe take one easier breath in and a slightly slower breath out. And if your eyes were closed, your eyes can open gently. Just notice what you notice. Is there any part of you that feels even a little more met? Did the protector shift even slightly when it was appreciated? Can you sense the difference between being inside the critic or being the critic and being with it? And if you want one tiny practice for the week, here it is. When you notice a protector active, critic, perfectionist, people pleaser, just name it. Oh, a protector is here. And then try this thread line again. Presence is the container. You don't have to get rid of parts. You can make room for them. So we practice with tiny glimpses, many times, no perfection required. If this helped, you're warmly invited to follow or subscribe so you don't miss the next snack. I'm Shankari, your Wild Wisdom Guide. And just remember, your system is loyal. Your authentic self is here. We're just making it a little easier to feel and follow its self-leadership. See you next time.